Have you ever been driving a car around in Greenville and you're just looking at it and you're thinking, dang, I just wish I could get this thing a little bit lower, you know what I mean? Or if you're driving around your truck and you're just thinking, dang, this thing is not level at all. I wish I could just level it out. Or maybe you're thinking, man, I wish I could squat this truck. Well, look no further because I think you've clicked on the right video. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to show you how you can slam your cars in Greenville. I'm also going to show you guys how to level out your trucks. And I'm also going to show you guys how to squat them and get them a little bit lean in. So ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned and I will show you guys how to do that today. But before we get into this video, it won't go on if you don't like and subscribe. So yeah, if you don't like and subscribe, then the video will just stop after this. But if you do like and subscribe, the video will continue on and I'll show you guys the methods and stuff like that. So you got to make sure you like and subscribe right now.
My ice in my cup, diamonds they all in my cup, yeah. Yeah, my ice in my cup, diamonds they all in my cup, yeah.
Oh, you make me smile.
What's going on, guys? Comment here. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how you can slam your cars in Greenville, how you can lift your trucks, squat your trucks, and level your trucks out in Greenville. I'm going to be showing you guys a good old method on how to do that because there is a better method than just using the ride height slider up and down. There's actually a different, better method. You can get your cars lower, you can get them higher, and you can actually level out your trucks, which is great. But before I start this video, as you guys can see, I know it's not Christmas, bro. Shut up. It's okay. Christmas is over, but I released the Christmas merch late, so I am extending it into 2026. So if you guys want to get yourself some Christmas merch, we got the shirt right here. We got the Con Christmas sweater. We got the Christmas hat. And we got the Christmas stocking. I will be taking these all off sale Friday the 16th. So go and get it while you can. This is never going on sale ever again. So go and get it while you can. I actually got this video idea from Camerex. He made a video called 3 Ways to Squat a Truck in Greenville. And that kind of gave me the idea. I'm going to make a video on how you guys can lower your cars, squat your trucks, lift them, and level them. So big shout out to Real Cameras for the video idea. Let's start out with lowering the cars. But I do want to say, just before you do this, this is not going to get your cars on the ground. Your cars are not going to be frame banging on the ground. They're not going to be scraping.
Working on my car,
the whole time. That really depends on the car. Some cars go a lot lower than others. So you just kind of have to experiment, ask around, be like, yo, what cars get low? Well, I'm not going to lie. I really miss scrolling on the Greenville homepage. I'm not going to lie. I really miss scrolling. I'm just gonna go on a whim. I'm just gonna buy this CLA, I think is what this is. The CLA AMG. I'm gonna get the carbon pack. I actually don't know if this car goes low, but we're really gonna find out right now. So here's my Mercedes CLA. We're going to go dump this thing on the floor right now. We're not gonna dump. Okay, here. Let's get a little visual picture in our head. So look at this wheel gap. Wheel gap is pretty good. Pretty big wheel gap. Car is 10 feet off the ground. We don't like that. We don't like that. Unfortunately, we're not going to be getting it slammed on the ground, but it'll definitely be a lot better and a lot lower than this. So what you're going to want to do is go to suspension. Obviously, ride height, boom, all the way down. We're going to want to buy that. But look at this. We're going to go get another visual. So obviously, I'm clipping big time and my fitment is really off. But we basically have a good idea on where the car is going to sit because we're talking about half the tire. So it eliminated the whole wheel gap and we're talking a little half the tire. Need to bring the offset in, maybe add a little bit of camber. I think the chassis is off too. Nice Greenville chassis alignment, guys. Gotta love that. Gonna bring the offset in about, I don't know, let's bring it in about 20. You cannot judge the car like how much it is lowered in the garage because it's not the same when you come out. But that's actually not bad. That's pretty low. That is actually pretty low. But we can get lower. We can get this car even lower. Probably not like insanely low, not like South Florida where the car is laying on the ground. You can get this thing a lot lower than you usually can. So you want to go to dynamics and you want to do the stiffness of the suspension. When the car is really hard, when the car is super stiff, it is going to raise it up. So if you guys want your car higher than normal, you raise it up all the way and then put the stiffness up. But if you want it lower, you lower it all the way down and put the stiffness all the way down because it makes it really soft. We're also going to put some sport tires on this thing. So we are going to do the front and the rear stiffness -100. We don't touch the dampening. The dampening doesn't really do anything. We're gonna buy it. Obviously, you can't really tell. It's not gonna make any difference unless you go and spawn and get the chassis going. But look at that. Look at how much lower this car is now. Look at this. Instead of tucking half the tire, this thing actually goes pretty low. Oh, look at this. We were tucking half the tire. Now we are tucking all the tire. This thing's actually pretty low. This thing actually got a lot lower than I thought. That is pretty good. Look at that. That is actually really good looking. So I picked a good car to do this. So look at that. You can get your cars a lot lower than just the normal ride height slider. Now, some cars you want to adjust the suspension differently. So I'm going to give you guys some tips and tricks on how to do that, especially BMWs. If you know, BMWs have a lower rear fender arch. So when you lower the car and you bring the stiffness for the front and the rear both down, it's going to be raked. And I'll show you guys what I mean by that here in a second. We'll do this little 440i all-wheel drive. Unfortunately, it's all-wheel drive. 64,000. But we're going to make it look good. We're not going to have it raked like all BMWs. Because I'm not going to lie, I see a lot of you guys driving around in BMWs and they're just hella raked. So obviously, we're going to slam it. I'm going to show you guys what it looks like slammed first before we really... So right here, obviously, look at this. This is what I mean by the rake. The car has a frontward rake. The front end is lower than the rear. And if you were to do the stiffness, it would make it even worse. So usually what I like to do for cars that have rear lower rear arches than normal, like BMWs. Why am I lagging? You want to go to the dynamics again. You do not want to touch the front stiffness. You only want to touch the rear because you want the rear to be lower. You want the rear to get lower so the car can be even. So now this is going to look a lot better. And look at that. See how much better that looks? And now if we were to bring the front stiffness down, it would be even more raked and it would look dumb. But this is good. It's even. The car is pretty much even. That is a good looking car. Now, if you don't care about the rake and you just want your car as low as possible, then I guess just turn the front stiffness down, but you're going to look dumb. So that is pretty good. Now, obviously the car is not scraping the ground. I'm going to give you guys a couple cars that actually scrape the ground. This, oh, good. Let's move on. No. And also, if you're wondering, adjusting the camber does not get your car lower either. Everything in Greenville is like on its own thing, and everything doesn't work together like it does IRL. Like IRL, when you camber your car gets lower. In this game, it does not because everything is kind of separate. All right, so I thought this thing got low. There's one series BMW that gets really low, and I don't know if it's a 1M or if it's the non-M. I mean, this thing is it's pretty low, but it's not as low as it could be. Now, there is one car that literally scrapes the ground when you drive, and that is the Takeover Edition G35 sedan. Now, where is that at? Here it is. When you do the stiffness, I actually don't even think I mess with the stiffness on this car. But look at this. This thing is basically scraping the ground. Every time I go over a bump, I get stuck. But yeah, this thing is freaking dumped. I wonder if I can get it lower. I actually don't know if I did. Let's see. Oh, wow. And you can get it even lower. I have the ride height maxed, but I do not have the stiffness maxed. Oh my, yeah, look at that. We are tucking crazy. So if you have this car and you want a car that's just super low and just dumped, this is definitely the car. I also believe the Mark V Supra is also pretty low as well. So this thing is actually pretty low. I don't know if I've adjusted the suspension or not. And it looks like that is ride height only. Wow, so I can get this thing even lower. So look at that. The A90 Supra is a car that gets really low. If you guys have any other cars that you know that get super, super low, like almost scraping the ground, comment them down below in the comments and help each other out if you guys really want some low cars. Wow. Okay, that is actually a lot lower than I thought. Look at that. So that's the A90 Supra. This thing looks really good too. Good looking V. That's one right there. So that is how you guys can lower your cars. Now I'm going to show you guys how you can squat vehicles in this game. So you can either squat trucks or level them. And I'm going to show you guys what I mean by level if you are not familiar with that term. All right, so it took me about 30 years to find Toyota, but got me a little 4Runner here, and I'm gonna show you guys how to level this out, because obviously, look at this. It has got a really bad front rake. If you look at the wheel gaps, you can see the front wheel gap is a lot less than the rear, and it is not good. Now, this goes for all trucks and all SUVs. Every single truck and SUV has a front rake. Every single one of them. Same principle here. So I'm gonna lift it a little bit, actually. I want this thing to be, you know, lifted up a little bit. We're gonna go like, I don't know, 50%. Now, if I were to just lift it like this, the rake would be bad. Like, you can obviously tell it's already just awful. So I'm actually going to bring the rear stiffness down, and I'm going to bring the front stiffness up. The rake is already bad from the start, and the stiffness does not give us much room to work with, but it definitely does help out. Hopefully, with the stiffness in the front all the way up and the stiffness in the rear all the way down, it'll level the truck out. But look at that. See how much better that looks? Now the truck is actually, I would say that's level. I would say that is pretty much leveled. We got a nice little lift. Truck is level. It is not raked. It doesn't have a bad rake. That is so much more pleasing to the eye. So this thing looks pretty good. Now, that is also how you squat trucks. Now, it depends on what the truck is. Some trucks squat better than others. The truck that has the most squat in this game, easily by far, is the where is it? Tahoe Beater. Because the shock, look at this thing. The rear shocks are just blown out, and so already from like off rip, it is already squatted. But with the rear stiffness changed, it is a lot more squatted. All right, so we are in here. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to squat this thing. Like I said, some trucks squat better than others. So obviously we're gonna bring the rear stiffness down, front stiffness all the way up, And we're going to keep the height the same, but I just want to see the stiffness here. All right, so here we go. And yeah, this thing's not really leaning. Yeah, this thing is not leaning at all. This thing's level. I mean, you can definitely level your trucks out, but you can't really squat them. I mean, doesn't really work. Let's try raising it up a little bit. Leaning, moment of truth. Nah, not leaning at all. This thing got no lean. It is, I'd say it's level, but this thing is not leaning. Bruh. Let me do a little experiment on this little expedition here. Let's see what we got going on. This thing is freaking slow, dude. Okay, all right, that is actually leaning quite a bit. Yeah, that's leaning quite a bit. So I guess some vehicles lean more than others. Now, if I put a trailer on this thing, I actually don't know if maybe it might lean more. Is it leaning? Now, I don't know if you get a heavier vehicle on here, if this thing will start leaning more, but it's not leaning enough. And I take the trailer off and this thing just levels itself out. Bruh, this thing's freaking level now. What are we doing? It's not leaning anymore. All right, so the trailer method is not working. Don't use a trailer method. That actually, it makes it worse. Oh yeah, look at the back end of the truck now. What are we doing? All right, so unfortunately there is not really a really good way to squat your vehicles in Greenville. You can lean them like barely, but it really depends on the car. Like I said, other vehicles do lean more than others. For example, the newer limited Tacoma Pre-Runner. Look at this thing. I did the same thing. Stiffness all the way down in the rear, stiffness all the way up in the front, and this thing's leaning pretty good. This thing is leaning pretty good. I mean, look at that. Look at that. You can definitely tell. You look at this thing and be like, oh, it's leaning, but it's not like a bad lean. It's like it actually looks good. No camber adjustment either. You don't want to adjust the camber because that just makes your truck look freaking stupid. Don't do that. But yeah, you just gonna have to experiment with your trucks and your SUVs and stuff like that. I do notice that the SUVs do squat more than the trucks. Just because the SUVs start out more level. All right, this thing leaning a little bit. This thing leaning a little bit. Oh! And sometimes the camber actually does get messed up. Like, as you can see, when I did the stiffness all the way up, it completely messed up the front camber, and now it looks stupid. Yeah, I need to adjust the camber in the front again. Dude, that's actually hilarious. See, this is what I'm saying. You never know what is going to squat more or less. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it right there. That is how you can squat your vehicles, level them, or lean them, and how you can make your car static in Greenville. Static. You can't really get them that low, but you can make them lower than normal. So hope you guys did enjoy. A lot of you guys probably already knew how to do this, but I figure for those of you that don't, and to give you guys a couple tips and tricks, I thought I'd make this video. Yeah, I'm gonna stop yapping. Anyways, I appreciate every single one of you guys watching today's video, and I will see you guys in the next one. See ya!